Grave Tone.
Welcome to Grave Tone Podcast, where horror comes to life in every form it takes. I'm Meaghan.
I'm Arthur.
And it's time for a super sneaky little review for us.
Yeah, it's a special one, this one.
Yeah, it is. We had the opportunity. Okay, so I'm setting a scene. A couple of weeks ago, we were DM'd, and it was a publicist asking us if we would be interested in setting up an interview for a new film called Pitfall that was premiering at Screamfest LA this past October 15th.
And the DM was from a publicist who is working on promoting a movie right now, which is Pitfall, like you mentioned, that premiered at Screamfest LA. And we were like, whoa, that is super awesome. I'm so down. Like, can we also get a screener? So obviously we got a screener so we can actually talk about it and see it.
It would be really hard to talk about the movie otherwise.
Yeah, that's it. And then we did an interview with the director and writer, James Kondelik, and also the producer of the movie.
Wai Sun Cheng.
Yes, that's it exactly. Thank you very much. We had a really cool interview with them literally yesterday.
Yeah.
All of that is right now in the works, so we're doing this one first. And in between the episodes, right now we're going to intersperse some of the cuts from the interview that were really interesting to us, and I think everyone should know about it. And then probably next week or something, you'll get to hear the full interview.
Yeah, we've got to do a little bit of editing stuff. We did have a little bit of sound issues as we were going. We're brand new at this. We've never done it before. This was like our first real interview. So we ran into a couple of technical issues, even though we tried to do things properly ahead of time. But listen, it is what it is.
Yeah, sometimes you test and it's still something screws up.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sure other people who are listening know exactly what we're talking about and have experienced similar things. So that's fine.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll just read the brief synopsis.
Yes.
We're not going to get too spoilery with this.
Yeah, that's a spoiler-free one because the film is currently doing the festival tour. It's heading to Screamfest NOLA, which is the New Orleans branch of Screamfest.
Yeah.
And
at the end of November, I believe.
That's it. Yeah, at the end of November, they're doing their thing there, and hopefully we'll see this on the big screen soon because it was a great movie.
I think I can easily see this getting picked up for a release of some sort. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Shout out if you're listening, do it. Do it right now.
Add it to your list. IFC. Whatever, somebody pick it up. Anyway, so reading the brief synopsis off of this, which really doesn't give very much away from IMDb, is after a young man gets separated from his friends in the woods, he falls into a 10-foot deep pit of spikes, impaling him through his leg and leaving him trapped. He quickly learns that his fall was not an accident.
Yeah, okay, so I do not like this at all because I don't know who wrote this, but this is not, but the movie is so much cooler than this.
I mean, there's a lot more to it.
Okay, so let's kind of get into it because the movie is, there's a group of friends that go into a forest in the middle of literally nowhere.
They're going hiking.
Yes. It's a 3-day hike.
Yes.
And during the hike, one of them, they get kind of separated and one of them falls into a pit. Yes, it's a giant pit. Yes, he gets impaled on a leg. Yeah. But what the hell is a giant 10 feet pit?
Yes.
Doing in the middle of a forest, right?
Well, apparently, I think pitfalls might actually be a thing that do exist.
Yes, I know.
Because they're used as hunting traps,
yes,
right?
But it's not supposed to be there, and also hiking on a place where you're not supposed to be hunting.
But who's being hunted, the animals or the people?
Exactly, and then we find out that there is kind of a crazy man who is hunting people, essentially, in that forest.
In that area, yeah.
And so, essentially, this is a slasher, like backwoods slasher type of...
It's like a survival horror.
Survival horror, almost, yeah. There was, so during the interview, I think it was Mitch, or maybe I saw this on TikTok somewhere, but someone said that it's like 127 hours, the movie.
Yes, James was saying it's 127 hours, but make it horror.
Yeah, make it horror and also add the killer who is basically his a Rambo type on top of that.
Yes.
And that should get the movie. So I think this is a much better synopsis. People go hiking, get separated, guy falls into a 10-foot pole. It's 127 hours, horror style with the Rambo killer.
With Rambo. But I think for a horror audience, that sounds very intriguing. I feel like people will be much more drawn to it with that description than with the synopsis that I just read.
That's it. Exactly. We should change this on IMDb. Yeah. There is a way.
Yes. So that's it. It's a group of 5 people in total. So there are 2 couples, 2 of whom are siblings also. There's a brother and sister along with their partners and their other friend. I love their little fifth wheel who's with them.
Okay, well, to be fair, fifth wheel or not, I mean, the cast in this movie is actually great.
Oh, they're so good.
You know what I mean? So we have Marsha Williams,
Yes, who
who
plays
plays Scott.
Yeah.
We have Richard Harmon, who was just in the latest
Final Destination
Final
Bloodlines.
Destination
Yeah.
Bloodline. We have Alexandra Eso, I think.
Esso. I think it's
Esso.
Esso.
Yeah, that's it. Who was in
so
Pope's Exorcist and a bunch of other stuff.
So much. Oh, she's a
right?
Mike Flanagan regular, that one.
Yeah.
Doctor Sleep, I think Haunting of Bly Manor. She's in Midnight Mass. She's in a bunch of stuff. I
That's
love
it.
her.
And then there's like, Jordan Claire Robbins. We have Brenda Llewellyn and also Randy Couture. Hello, UFC champion.
Okay, so this for me, I love that when we got the screener for this, you were like, Randy Couture, and I was like, I'm not sure who that is. But that's because I know nothing about UFC at all.
Okay,
so
he's awesome and he does acting and
yeah, but now my understanding is that he's first of all, like, I know he's like a heavyweight champion, but he's also like quite well known with regards to film at this point as well. He seems to have a pretty storied career, and isn't he in his 60s now?
Yeah, that's it. He's like 62 or something.
Impressive.
And the physical acting that he was doing there was incredible.
Very impressive.
Speaking of which, James during the interview was talking about Randy Couture, that he's like such a sweetheart. And
apparently,
listen to this clip.
Yeah, I mean, Randy's a dear friend, and he was amazing, and he was a real dream to work with. And he was, he has a lot of fight training, to begin with. Obviously being a UFC champion and so on. He kind of like he was constantly watching the choreography and watching the stunt coordinators and working, in tandem with them and making sure everything felt safe. And I think he made all the actors who maybe sometimes may not have had, as much training or stunt training as maybe some of the other people or whatever. But I think he made everybody feel comfortable, when he wasn't, showing them how to take a punch or showing them how to throw a punch. He was like massaging, like giving them, like rubbing people's necks. And I think he was like, what did they say? I just learned this the other day, that he's like a registered like chiropractor or something. Like he was like setting people like necks and junk. And and when he wasn't doing that, it's like he was just chilling. I'm like, where's Randy? And he's just like, oh, he's on the ground, like leaning up against a log waiting on us. And I'm like, do you need a chair? Like, are you good? It's like it was raining, it was wet, it's miserable out. And he's like, no, I'm fine.
I mean, come on, this guy's like super helpful. He doesn't care about being wet sitting on a log. And
who doesn't want a massage from Randy Couture when you're in between scenes and stuff like that?
It's pouring,
just
and
trying
it's
to
cold.
make everybody feel better.
Yeah,
That's nice.
so cool. So yeah, anyways, great cast. And also the characters that they played, this is something that you mentioned as well, is that the characters are actually useful during the whole time. Right? They're not like randoms and they're like, oh, we're stuck in a forest, we're just going to collect branches and sit on leaves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This is something that I find, I guess as time goes on, don't get me wrong, every once in a while, it's really fun to put on some like silly, mindless, whatever, where people are in a situation, characters I should say, are in a situation that they should not be in, and they have no idea what they're doing. And you just kind of have to laugh at the idiocy of it all, because it's just like a way for your brain to sort of disconnect and just have fun with it. But I feel like I kind of can't watch at this point too many of those in a row, because it just starts to get on my nerves.
Right.
So I find myself more likely to care about and root for characters who at the very least have like a passing knowledge of how to take care of themselves as human beings, and in these high tension, high stress situations like what you find yourselves in films like this, are able to take a step back and at least try to make rational and logical decisions. Now, of course, the point of some of these films, obviously, and stories like this, is for the killer to kind of like outwit and stuff, because there has to be a body count in a movie like this. But at the same time, you want to know that like they're not all going to be stupid enough to be picked off within the first 10-15 minutes of the movie. That you'll be able to get to a point where you're like, oh my God, okay, yeah, this person's gotten like really far along. I really hope that they make it, because they've made enough intelligent, well-rounded decisions for you to be like, oh, I really want them to make it through now.
Yeah, that's it. And they do. And like, when one of the friends gets separated, falls into the pit, they try to find him, they try to retrace their steps. They go literally fishing with sticks.
Yes.
And manage to catch a fish. You know what I mean? Like there's preparation done that is well done. And the characters are essentially always helping. There's no
Yeah.
one who's like kind of useless and complaining all the time, except Richard Harmon's character. But he's like kind of like a
But there are a few scenes, and again,
yes.
I'm not doing spoilers, don't worry. There are a few scenes in which he becomes the voice of reason
That's it
in certain
exactly, which is
circumstances
still
as
very
well.
useful, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I will say, actually, I do feel, I do feel like of all of them, I feel like the person who maybe deserves a really big pat on the back is probably Marshall Williams, who plays Scott,
Yes.
who's one of the two siblings and also definitely one of the leads of the film, because he's the spoiler that I'm giving is that he's the person who's in the pit,
Sure, I mean,
right? And like in the synopsis that's
I think
given.
it's in the trailer too. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
okay.
it. He's the one who winds up in the pit, and he spends he does spend a hefty amount of time by himself, and he must have spent a hefty amount of time by himself filming. So I feel like he probably deserves a big pat on the back for that, because it's just like, oh great, I'm going to film in this big hole by myself and have to emote a whole bunch and go through all of this stuff
Well,
by
yeah.
myself, right? And go through what somebody would be going through
That's
under
it.
a circumstance
Actually,
like this.
fun fact: they've built 3 pits.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, when they were doing this.
Yeah, and we're not going to tell you why, because there are different reasons that they would need different ones at different
Yes,
times. But you have to
exactly.
watch the movie to find out why.
Watch the movie right now. Yeah, so I mean, look again. So that's it, right? The characters were great. Let's talk about the kills. Because now we're talking
Yeah.
about it's a horror movie. Obviously, there are kills.
Oh, for sure.
There's not that many, which again makes sense.
Yep.
It's more of a secluded kind of like one place environment because they're lost in the middle of
Yeah,
forest
it's like
in the
one
middle of nowhere.
location. I mean, I get it. They move around the woods, obviously, but
Sure.
it feels like an isolated location.
But the kills are really well done.
They're really
There's
good.
good action. Most importantly, the special effects and the practical effects are
Yeah, they look really good.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
I
no,
would say
they do.
they're really good. And this is partially because, I mean, okay, look, we'll let Wai the producer say why the effects are so great.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
We got really good. We got the same effects team that did the Final Destination Bloodline to come and do all the effects and stuff.
nice.
And then our stunt team are from Skyscrapers, the show, and Godzilla 1.
Yeah.
And all these like really big show people that are helping out with our film.
And like on Final Destination stuff, like this is a solid team behind
Very
this,
much.
and it really shows.
Oh God, yeah.
So yeah, like there's different kinds of them. The graphics of it are really well done.
Yeah, no, they look really good.
Yeah, seriously, it was incredible. I don't know. It's really worth it, and like they're timed really well and stuff like that. Like it's coming from different characters. Anyways, whatever.
Yep.
I'm not gonna say that
No.
anything. But yeah, it's really worth the watch for that, because you do get to appreciate that aspect of things. There is a scene that is kind of gruesome, and you're watching this and you're like, wow, this looks real. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
looks
yeah.
really intense.
There were like a good few of those that I was like, oh God,
Yeah.
that looked painful and
Yeah,
intense.
seriously, it was really cool. So I mean, like if you're there for, I guess the killer aspect of things, really well done.
Yeah, I agree. It just everything kind of looks good from start to finish. I found the cast had great chemistry
Yes,
with each
agreed.
other. I think I mentioned this to James and to Wai while we were chatting, is that it's, sometimes when things feel like overly sort of like I'm just saying lines when I'm filming, like, it really comes off, but it really just seemed very natural for the cast and the way that they speak to each other, whether they're happy with each other, angry with each other, dealing with something, whatever the case may be. They seemed like actual people having a conversation
Yeah, that's
about
it.
whatever there was going on for them.
And
which I
James did say
appreciated.
that, like, he did allow ad-libbing.
Some
during-
ad-libbing, and there were some aspects of the script that changed throughout the course of filming
That's
and all
it.
that stuff. It wasn't completely finalized and then stayed exactly the same way the whole way through. It did kind of, shift and change depending on things. And I'm pretty sure that, I'm pretty sure anyone who has ever even spent time hiking, camping, whatever, can imagine that, you might have like a solid plan for something, but then when
No.
the elements come into play,
That's it.
your plan changes greatly. So I think you can only imagine that if you've also got a ton of filming equipment and people who are supposed to be shooting very specific scenes
Yep.
and what that will mean. Because this was filmed on location in Maple Ridge in BC.
Yes, correct.
So, and it's like, the thing is that BC has all these wonderful national parks that are so beautiful, but I can only imagine that sometimes due to the elements time of year in which things are being filmed, what's happening. You know, it rains when it wants to. It does what it wants to do, whether they are shooting something that makes sense that way or not, and you just kind of have to work around it.
Yeah, that's it. And he was saying there's one of the scenes that it's like an important scene in the movie. It wasn't scripted, that I think it was supposed to be raining, if I remember correctly, and it was just pouring down, and they're like, you know what, screw it, we're gonna do it this way, and we're gonna rewrite part of things so it makes sense, and then bam, let's do it.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was that was really cool.
Yeah.
That was really well done.
I think this was just a really cool experience in general. One, getting to sit down and watch this film kind of ahead of time like this was really cool, but also obviously getting to chat with James and with Wai was such a blast.
Yeah.
They were so lovely.
Thank you guys,
and
seriously.
open and accommodating. You know, it's not like we have a ton of experience with doing anything like this, so it was really nice to have them be so kind and so open and so clearly enthusiastic
and passionate
about
this
yes. project.
Both of them. It was great.
Very much.
So James was saying that he had the idea for this movie 13 years ago, which is incredible how long it took
it's crazy.
to do it. So, I mean, listen, I'll let him speak for himself in terms of how the idea came about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, it's kind of funny because one of the reviews just nailed it on the head. It was kind of doing 127 hours, but like, what if we did the horror version of that?
Okay.
And it's like, oh, well, what if like somebody was stuck in this like impossible scenario and they have to escape, otherwise, you know, their friends or loved ones could be in danger as well. So that's kind of where it stemmed from. I mean, it was like 12, 13 years ago when the idea came to me, because at the time, you know, I was a wee lad starting in film as an editor, but I was trying to cut my teeth on doing some more writing and pitching people stories and treatments and scripts and stuff. And somebody told me like, you should really think about doing like single location things. And I'm like, okay. And I thought, how about a guy in a hole? And everybody said, that sounds like the easiest movie to make. And it turned out to be quite the opposite.
So, I mean, look, isn't that insane?
Yeah.
13 years that he had this idea for, and then someone was like, hey, just make a movie like this. And he was like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'll
guess
try
I
it.
could, yeah.
You know, and he was pitching it in left and right, and then Wai came along, and he was like, okay, let's do it. And he was quick, and you know, what was it, May that they started filming, or June, something like this? And then like by August or something, like the movie was coming in October.
Yeah.
Right, so they were done and getting all the editing and cutting and everything. Like, that's quick stuff, man, and it was well done. On top of that, like,
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So anyway, I don't think we need to sing its praises too much more, but if you're in the New Orleans area and you feel like going to Screamfest NOLA, definitely, I'd say go check it out for sure while 100%. You're there. If not, yeah, definitely hoping that sooner rather than later, you know, it gets picked up, whether it's by a service or like it gets a theatrical release, whatever the case may be, so that more people kind of have a chance to see it. I'd like to watch it again at some point just to kind of, you know, view it again from a different lens of like not going in for the first time,
that's
like
true.
Have like a proper rewatch of it where I kind of know what's coming to a degree. You focus on other things, which is cool.
Yeah.
So I like doing that. But yeah, thank you again to James. Thank you to Wai. We will, as soon as we're kind of able to parse everything together and make everything make sense as much as we can, that episode of our interview with them is going to be coming your way, and there will be some little bits and bobs released on our socials too at Gravetone Pod, so you guys will be able to check out like some aspects of the interview over there as well to, you know, give you a good idea of things. We've already put out, I think, one little teaser of it.
One.
We'll keep doing that.
We'll keep doing it.
You know,
I still want to fix some things before
For sure.
putting out the next ones, but yeah.
But we'll get it to as much as good as it can be. But, you know, forgive us if things are a little janky. But yeah, so that was a blast. That was so fun. I'm hoping that episode will be coming out sooner rather than later. At the time that we're recording this, we're going to be heading into another review in the next few days because this coming Friday, the 24th, Shelby Oaks is getting its theatrical release.
It's awesome, and we're going to get to see it for the second time.
I know. We're going to get to see that for the second time. We haven't seen it in over a year now. We saw it in July of 2024. So we're getting to see that again, which is going to be super cool. Looking forward to that. And then, October's wrapping up, which is insane. This month is just like pew pew flying by.
Love it.
It's
Let's
insane.
do it again. Give me another October.
Well, we're gonna have November, and we've got like Predator Badlands and stuff, and everything
Nice.
coming out, and Keeper, I think, as well. So yeah, no, we're gonna be fine. I think we're gonna be fine and
Good.
stacked with new stuff coming our way, and hopefully we have a minute to get into a couple of other things too, because they're like books that I want to talk about and stuff that we want
Yeah,
to talk
seriously,
about.
I know like we do a lot of movies, but we do say this is about books and video games as well. Some books are coming.
We're on it.
Yeah.
We're on it. We'll get there. Anyway, like I said, check out all of our socials for everything that's kind of
Yeah.
on the way. That way we'll be
And
releasing little teasers and stuff for
Check out
everybody.
the socials for the movie as well.
For
On
sure.
Instagram, you can find them on Pitfall Movie. That is
Yeah.
the handle. It's great. They're dropping stills, really cool stills there. They have a trailer. Anyways,
Also,
there's
check
a lot
out
of
the
stuff.
poster. The poster's pretty cool.
The poster is really cool. Yeah, they actually have two versions of the poster now, and I'm not sure which one I like better. I think I like the original one
I
better.
really like the hand holding the knife.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
really like that one. Anyway, check those out. And yeah, that's it. Like, support these guys. So hopefully
Yeah.
they can do, like they
More.
can make their passion projects. They can do what they want to do. And you'll be able to hear about that in the interview as well.
Exactly.
So anyway, all of that's coming your way.
Ciao,
But
guys.